Welcome to the Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas. Today, my guest is Lucia Grillo. Lucia works in film, television, theater, commercial print, and voiceovers. She is a narrative and documentary filmmaker with her Calabrizzella's Films banner. Lucia creates promotional films for vegan brands and currently produces and hosts Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle, the only 100% all-around vegan lifestyle show to air on television. Stick around. I want to introduce her to you. Hi, Lucia. How are you?
Hi, Nancy. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. How are you?
I'm doing good. And you are in my home state and city, Brooklyn,
That's
New
right.
York. Welcome.
Thank you. We're spreading love the Brooklyn way.
There you go. So first of all, let's talk about your journey into veganism.
Okay. All right. I love this story. You know, I always say that vegan is my normal, right? Because I went vegetarian when I was 12. And
Wow.
I've been vegan since 1996. So, you know, it's not normal to consume animals. So that's pretty much my journey. I think, you know, being a vegetarian kid, immigrant child's daughter, sorry, child of Italian immigrants, which was very interesting. I talk about it on my show, which I know we'll get to in a bit. I grew up in New York. I was born and raised in New York to these lovely Italian immigrants who panicked when I told them I wasn't going to eat animals because they thought that I think I still haven't clarified this with them. They thought that you get blood directly from animals' flesh. And because they grew up in the most beautiful Italian region, but, you know, in near poverty, they had one animal a year and they were considered, you know, to be more well off than most of the families in their little village. So they thought that I was going to starve. They didn't know that I was doing it because I recognized the sentience of our fellow animals. So, you know, I really lucked out as a kid because the second they realized it was going to stick, that I was determined and this was a choice that I was making for my life, they immediately set out to find ways to nourish their child. And not only, but even my dad's a chef, my sister is a chef, my mother's an impeccable cook. My entire family is very talented in the kitchen. So they all, from New York to Italy, set out to veganize dishes for me. And they just, you know, so when I lived in a way, I've lived in other places besides our beloved native New York. When I lived in Wales, which the UK is, in my experience, has been always really great about veganism and marking, you know, vegetarian and vegan foods in supermarkets and even at the gas station. My friend's mother, when I lived in Wales, came home with groceries one day and she said to me, I bought you the vegetarian cheese. And I said, what do you mean? All cheese is vegetarian. And she said, well, you know, not really, because they use rennet from, you know, which is an acid from the sheep's stomach to curdle the milk to make cheeses. So I bought you the vegetarian version. As soon as she explained that to me, this was in like 1991. Every time I ate dairy from then on, I could taste the rennet. So I was like, you know, I eventually finally, you know, was like, I need to be completely vegan. There's being vegetarian is really not enough, right? It even causes, and even I think by that time, the dairy industry had rapidly become exponentially worse and more violent. And I thought, okay, to be ethical about this, fully ethical, I have to be vegan. So I finally went vegan in, I believe, 1996. And yeah.
Wow. So you've been vegan for a while. That's awesome. But you know
Yeah.
what's even more awesome in the story that you told, besides you going vegan,
Yeah.
that your parents actually supported you and started trying to find ways to veganize dishes for you. That
Yeah.
is like so
Yeah.
awesome of them.
Thank you. Thanks. I know I'm going to cry. I always get so emotional because, I know that a lot of vegans have a hard time, right? A lot of well, we won't talk about vegetarians. A lot of vegans have a hard time with their families not understanding, but at least mine didn't want me to die. So,
I mean, that
so they
is
fed me.
awesome, awesome.
Thank you. Thank
Um, and I know that I've seen your dad on one of your show segments cooking with you.
you.
But
Yes.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about Lucia's vegan lifestyle TV show.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Thank you. So I just taped episode 25. Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle is, I'm going to say it, the only vegan lifestyle show on actual television. It airs on MNN, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, here in New York City, and it has a 500,000 viewership reach across New York City and the boroughs. So that's big. I'm getting such a great response from it. Even at the network when I meet my colleagues and they're like, "Which show is yours?" And I tell them, they're like, "Oh my God, I've been watching your show. I'm trying to go vegan. I'm going vegan. I'm making the transition." So the response that I've gotten from this show has just been, it's filled my heart and it's meant literally everything. So the story of this is that I'm an actress and filmmaker, and I've been for many years. I've had the honor of working with and opposite Oscar winners, international stars. So that's my background. I'm also a filmmaker. I've made films in Italy and in the US. And I lived in Italy. When I came back here, I was hired to produce a TV show about Italian culture in New York, and they'd never had food on. The show had been on for like 25 years, but they'd never had food on the show. So I thought, well, how can we be a show about culture when we're not examining the cuisine? So I pitched doing food segments, but of course, being vegan, I said that I really wouldn't do it unless the food was vegan.
Awesome for you.
So thank you. So the boss said yes. And the first segment we did was a young chef, Jay Estafa. He was like, I think he was a teen or maybe in his early 20s, like Wunderkind, right? He was making mozzarella from cashews. So I had him demoing this recipe on the show, and it broke records not only for the show, but for the network as well. We had like tens of thousands of views of this video. So then I expanded that into, people, guests on the show that were making vegan leather accessories. And I was really expanding it. So when I left that show, people asked me, please do a fully vegan show. And I was like, how am I going to show people how to be vegan? I don't know where to start. I've been doing this for so long. I just consciously don't know where I would begin. So a dear friend of mine, also an actor and producer, we were talking about this one day because he kept urging me to do this. He's not vegan, by the way, but he's a great supporter of veganism, should be vegan. So I had just, here in New York, we have a vegan shoe store. So I had just bought these great sneakers and I was telling him about them. He grabbed my cell phone, turned on video, said, "Action, tell me about your new vegan sneakers." And that's kind of where it all began. I was doing, segments. I called them segments. I created an Instagram page. I was doing segments like, I would go to events, vegan cookbook launches, events. I was interviewing. We were during the pandemic, so I interviewed someone, restaurateur here I'm in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn, a Black woman who owns a fantastic restaurant, and she was giving burgers out to the neighborhood to have people try, vegan. So I interviewed her and I was putting together these short segments. Then finally I had enough to create a pilot episode of this vegan show that I had no name for. And so I pitched it to M&N. They accepted it, and and here we are at episode 25. The no name, I was looking for something clever, and then I was like, you know what, by the time I look for something clever, animals are dying. I need to help people go vegan. People keep telling me that this is a great idea, so let me just call it what it is. It's Lucia's vegan lifestyle.
There you go. It's perfect.
Thank you.
That is so awesome how everything fell like in line for you to be able to produce the show. And so it airs every week, every month. When does it air?
It's bi-weekly. So I do everything by myself, Nancy. I shoot, I script, I produce, I host on camera. I do my makeup, which is almost undone yet today. I edit. So I try to do one new episode per month, but sometimes I'll let episodes, run a little bit longer. That way people have time to enjoy them on M&N. So bi-weekly Tuesdays on M&N in Manhattan, in New York City, across the boroughs. And then you can check, your local listings for it. And it's also on the YouTube. So it's Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle without the apostrophe, of course. Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. I put all of the episodes there so people can watch it worldwide.
That is great. And I know because, I do this little podcast, and even though it's a 15-minute podcast and I do it every week, takes a lot of work. You got to edit, you got to, I'm still fighting with the lighting, but
your lighting looks great. Looks great. Looks great.
That's my biggest challenge is my lighting is like sometimes I look like Vision, from Avengers with the lighting coming out of your head.
It's always the challenge. I just have my natural light today, but in my other room I have the 3 lights, and I'm always talking to colleagues about lighting and stuff. But you know what, the important thing, Nancy, is that you're getting this out there. That is the most important thing. So it's just hats off to you for taking the time and putting in the work to help people go vegan and live vegan, so that we save our fellow sentient beings' lives and the planet.
And right back at you. So now you interview different individuals, right? Who are vegan, and
a little bit, yeah. So the show is mainly based on my lifestyle, but because it's like a party, I can't help celebrating, veganism and other vegans. So, when I get excited about someone or when it's opportune, like Veganuary, for example, I had the director, Wendy, the US January on the show also to, kind of I try to do cross platform promotion. So I did Veganuary. I took over their Instagram last month in January. So I did a kind of cross promotional thing. So I had Wendy on the show to explain Veganuary and everything it offers. Sometimes I'll do events like I did Tamerlan Sanctuary in New Jersey. I covered their gala, which was a beautiful event. So sometimes I dedicate episodes to other things, but by extension, this is all, it's all my lifestyle. So, I had my parents on for the holidays because I thought, knowing I was seeing all these tweets from vegans, having a hard time and, wanting recipes and advice. So I thought, why not show people that there are parents and families and loved ones out there that do support and that do get it, or even if they don't get it fully, or still sometimes are like, you sure you don't want a steak? And I'm like, oh my God, after a lifetime. I love tofu. I love cows and I want them alive.
Right. And who wants to eat flesh?
Exactly. So, it's all based on my lifestyle. And then cross-platform, I also have an Amazon Live show. It's, as far as I know, also the only Amazon Live that's dedicated to vegan lifestyle. So, I don't know if you know how that works, but it's kind of like QVC. So, I'm finding vegan products on Amazon. And then I'll either do, a cooking segment using products, food and other things, like appliances and etc. Or, makeup, vegan makeup. So I'll do, my makeup ritual or my nighttime self-care beauty ritual, all with vegan products to help people navigate, because everybody's shopping on Amazon. If there are a few people who do not shop on Amazon, but I thought, this is a huge worldwide platform, and they invited me as a vegan influencer to join, and I thought, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. That way, if I present something on the TV show, for example, last month I did vegan travel beauty. So that was the theme for my Veganuary takeover. That was my theme for my talk on the Vegan Travel Summit. And then I did a few Amazon lives demoing, vegan travel products that were, even sustainable. I hate saying cruelty free because you can't really be cruelty free unless you're vegan. So vegan, cruelty free, sustainable travel beauty products. So, so I try to do cross platform. That way people have this as a resource to live a fully vegan life.
And that is so important to, to help others, to highlight others, because we are all here for one reason, and is to kind of inspire and inform and educate others who are not on this vegan trip yet, that we all want to live cruelty free. I mean, in our hearts, we're all love, and we have just had a disconnection somewhere along the line. Someone disconnected us from the compassion that we had as children, and we're just trying to help you get it back.
Yes, that's such a beautiful way of putting it. I have my 9-year-old great niece who is, I think, probably the most beautiful human I've ever. I'm going to cry. Beautiful, beautiful human being, and she's vegan curious now. So we've been spending, we're spending kind of weekends together because she wants to explore veganism. She's 9. So she's very curious about it. And, a couple of weeks ago, we had a vegan weekend where she, only ate vegan food. And she tried to wear even vegan, non-animal clothing. This weekend, I'm taking her to an animal sanctuary so that she can be up close for the animals. And she's even more excited than I am. She can't stop talking about it. She texts me every day. It's so cute. So, it's beautiful that you put it that way, because that's absolutely what it is.
Thank you. And any last words for our viewers that you'd like to, share with them?
Yeah, thanks. So the tagline of Lucia's vegan lifestyle is compassionate living without sacrifice. And what if you're in this, any kind of, let's say, promotional world, right? As a quote unquote influencer or whatever, people always tell you to find your niche. And I always say that my niche is the entire world. So I have followers that are from 16-year-old girls, young women, to men that are in their like mid 60s. That's my demographic. This is who's watching my platforms. So compassionate living without sacrifice has multiple meanings. It means that we're living without sacrificing the lives of our fellow sentient beings. And it also means that no matter what your lifestyle is, whether you're, ultra rich celebrity who doesn't want to live without your, stilettos, there are gorgeous vegan shoes. If you are struggling and on SNAP EBT, Lucia's vegan lifestyle is here for you to help you access vegan living, no matter what, no matter who you are. So you don't have to sacrifice your, lavish lifestyle. You don't have to sacrifice your wallet in order to live without sacrificing our fellow sentient beings. So my message is, please explore the resources. We have so many resources now. Please subscribe to Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle on YouTube, follow on Amazon. to help to help you navigate this and live your best vegan life. And just Google, explore, enjoy it, because there is joy in living vegan.
Yes, there is. Thank you very much, Lucia, for being on this Vegan Pulse. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Nancy, so much. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another Vegan Pulse. I am your host, Nancy Arenas. Remember, check out our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Live vegan.